Is that everything up to date? Yes, that's the entire Bricklink basket. I need to stop making such massive baskets on Bricklink. I mean, I want all the parts, but I need to commit to... Ooh, what? We have a new look. Oh, good lord, what have you done? Okay, in between the time of me looking at my basket, getting rid of it, and loading the website back up, Bricklink suddenly has a slightly different display. Okay, that's very weird. I think I'm going to get rid of all the magenta parts because we need to do a dedicated magenta stock up. I don't think this this store is the one for that. So get rid of all that, much cheaper. Honestly, let's get rid of all the dark green. We'll keep the dark red, but we're going all in for the medium azure primarily. Alright, so medium azure, yeah. Dark red, dark red, dark red, dark red. Yep. That's all dark red. My eyes are not blurring. So mistakenly keeping it dark green. Nope. Okay. That took £20 off the order. Still can't afford it. Right. What should we do first? Never mind. Still a problem. Where am I going to put those boxes? Because I can only put one more there before it's too tall. I don't want to bring it out any further for the sake of having all that layout space. Oh, sod. Ooh, putting on top not impossible. I'll have to look into that another time. Hey. Right. So we have the results of a poll to go over. Plan for New Year. General chat with the general chat Q&A, which is what we do every stream, and we got a bunch of mocks to showcase. What would you like to see first? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 models ready to. Well, yeah, 6 models to showcase. One of them is 6 pieces away from completion. Ooh, pardon me. What have I been thinking? I'll have to think on that even more because I'm not entirely sure. We have 6 mocks to showcase. I think I know which one I want to start with. Yeah, I think it's an easy decision because this one is technically the oldest of these 6. Where's my brush? Let me get a brush. Oh, my phone is freezing. Yep. clean off the brush. They're all fine. They're all clean. It's just this one. Well, even then, they're all bubble wrapped. I don't understand how this is dirty. Well, not dirty, but dusty. I do need to update that sig fig. Well, it's not sig. Well, actually, it is going to be his sig fig. I mean, if I'm going to have that character name, I do need to get the face and the hair right. So yeah, I'll look into that. Right, let's see how this goes. Mock Showcase number 1. Very much inspired by a Bugatti. So I actually got the, is it the, what, is it a Bugatti Veyron or is it a Chiron? I think it's a Veyron. The early 6-wide Bugatti Speed Champion set. I like the color scheme. The blue and the black looks pretty good. I wanted to replicate that sort of shape, and the end result is this. I'm not entirely sure if this is good. I mean, I'm definitely happy with the end result. There's a couple of oddities with this particular model, but you know, like the wing mirrors, for example, that's definitely, like the fact that I'm using a 4-wide windscreen. There's a lot of black on the back, which is kind of the point, but the door shape is a bit weird because of the slope piece I'm using right here. Yeah, it's a bit odd, I guess. Now that I look at it a bit more, it does kind of stand out in its own weird way, but at the same time, I think I'm still happy with this. I don't think I could really do anything to upgrade this. There's nothing I would really do to improve on it, so to say. I do like everything I've done for it. The massive engine that's exposed in the back, I really do like that. But yeah, overall, this is one I've had for a good number of months. When I did a show with the LUKR it was in July, yeah. Whilst I was amongst a sea of Lego trains, I had to bring my cars. And this was one of the extra car models I had made after Season 2 had released. So did Season 2 release at the time? I think so. I can't actually remember. But all the same, this was a new mock in time for that show. Oh, I feel that coming. Let's put the models on hold because I want to talk about poll. Let's just do the whole live stream because this has been an absolute disaster. And that's a real shame. So I did a poll a couple of days ago to see if anybody liked the new format I did with the showcase videos that I did for my car carrier lorry and my cafe bus. So the format works in a way where I did not give any vocal commentary. There was no speaking about the model. I decided, Sam Brown, hello, thank you very much for tuning in. How are you doing? So for these two videos, I decided I wanted to create text boxes on the screen and have a music track in the background. I've seen plenty of videos from some people I'm subscribed to do that. The format is nice. The format is calm. It's not something I've done before because I've always been excited to talk about a model and explain certain things. But I thought as time went on, I kind of want to not talk so much. And for those two videos, I gave the format a try. And in turn, I did some polls to see how people thought about them. And the poll basically said, do you prefer this new format, or would you rather went back to the standard format of me talking about the model instead of the text boxes? What did you prefer, the vocals or the text box? And it's actually kind of 50-50. It's only got like a dozen people who voted in the poll in the first place. 7 on the Discord poll and 14 on YouTube. So that's nearly 24 people. But it's a 57% in favor of the text screen on YouTube. And on Discord, it's 71% in favor of the vocals over on the Discord poll. That's a bit weird. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure what to do. I mean, the poll's already out there. I can't do it again. But I might experiment with it for another video. I think for smaller videos, it'll be worth it. For larger video, because when I make the Street Racer scenes for season 3, I'm absolutely going to talk about them and explain things, because I feel like that definitely works. But for smaller videos, like showcasing individual models, I might have to try the text box format. So there is a poll on my channel on the community tab, and it reads as follows. It's from 3 days ago. It is the second current post. The latest post is me basically saying this is the last stream of the year, so you will have to scroll down for like a second to see it. So basically says, my last 2 mock showcase videos featured on-screen text boxes instead of audio commentary, basically me talking about the model. This was an experiment to see if the text box format was better than me actually vocally describing the model. If so, which format did you find better? So the videos I uploaded after Bristol Brick Show for my Lego cafe bus mock and my car carrier mock. Amazingly, the cafe bus, I wanted to scrap this. It's still intact. I'm going to scrap it eventually. I mean, I like the idea of the cafe bus, but it was more like a bit of a gimmicky thing. Then again, if I'm going to do that properly, I've got some more design elements in mind to make it just much better as a whole. Cannot wait to give it a go if I do it again. So it basically means, if you haven't seen the videos already, first of all, go and watch them, because they're short videos, but it showcases the mock with basically 0 distraction. And the experiments basically meant, instead of me talking like I am now about the model, the only audio you hear in those videos is a background music track as you're looking at the model, as well as a little text box in the corner to say, this detail was accomplished with this, I like this, I don't like this, etc. So, yeah. The Mexican Rail Fan. Hello, thank you very much for tuning in. It is I, the Random Mexican. I think that would be a very good username to change to in the future if you ever decided that Mexican Rail Fan is no longer to your taste. That Random Mexican. Sam also says, I don't have enough shelf space for the Lego. I already have. I'm almost certainly getting more for the holidays. How do you think I'm doing? Well, I'll put it to you this way. My dad is someone who buys a lot of the big, expensive, sort of adult-focused Lego sets, and he ran out of shelf space like a year ago. And he's doing fine. So, yeah, I mean, you're okay with it. I want to go and watch the real video. I'm only watching all one about train videos. Yeah, so if you can go do that, that's fine. Again, they're like 2 minutes each, so you won't be missing too much. But yeah, it's, give it a quick watch. I'm pretty sure you'll understand what I mean when you watch it. But yeah. So Drew, it's been a while. Like, how you been? I have been pretty good, I gotta be honest. It's not been too bad, but it's definitely been getting better by the day. By like 0.1%. It's very gradually getting better, because things I want to do in life are slowly progressing, and Lego models are being made, but I'm running out of money, and I need a lot of money to buy a bunch of sets on New Year's. I did a quick calculation earlier to see how much I'm actually going to be spending on New Year's, because I want to get the scrapyard set, I want to get the Iron Man car, I'm going to get the red sports car, at least. So that's about £110-ish I'm going to be spending. But yeah, don't even need to finish that video to know I don't like that format. Okay, fair enough. That's good to know. The feedback is always appreciated. Again, it was a test to see if that would work. I got to be honest, the reason why I tried that experiment was because I could not be bothered to do any audio commentary. So when I got all the video footage for the show, it's just the video footage. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about the model at the show because it'd be way too much background distraction. So in the editing process, I could have just added any descriptions over the top, and I think it would have been an easy enough thing to do, but I think it's also safe to say I did that because I just couldn't be bothered. I was a bit lazy at the time. I really wanted to get the videos out because I've done a string of vlogs for LEGO shows, and the mock showcase videos just had to get out. But yeah, I think it was still fun to play with that format at the very least. If you don't like it, that's a good thing to note. Make sure that is, well, what that is known, which you did. Thank you very much. And to be honest, looking again at the overall, let me just double check the polls. I don't need to do that. Hang on. Okay. So there's 16 votes in this poll now. 56 to 44. So that's 9 saying yes and 7 saying no. Including the votes from Discord, which is 2 and 5 for yes and no respectively. That would make it 1 vote above in favor of no, they want to go back to hear me actually talk about. Is it 1 or 2 votes? Well, yeah, there's like 1 or 2 votes. No, it's 1. Yeah, it's 1 vote. Yeah, by 1 vote, no, they want to hear me actually talk about the model is currently in favor. Again, I mean, fair enough. It's always good to have that feedback because some things are tried with and some things do fail. It's good to know. So the poll is out the way. That's good. I haven't done too many polls recently because there really isn't that much to really poll about. The thought experiments post, just whilst I'm looking at this, we'll get this conversation going in the chat as well. So I made a post a couple of weeks ago for a video I want to do in the New Year's. Pardon me. So Lego City. What a theme. The past year has been an absolute win for Lego City. At the start of this year, they being Lego, decided to start a space sub-theme. And I would say it has been very successful because space was one of the most popular themes ever. And I think it's fair to say the idea of a sub-theme in City could definitely be expanded upon with other themes. So before we carry on, hello RK, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. How are you doing? It's just that having text instead of audio makes it feel very robotic and a little less like there's a human there. If you know. Yeah, I know what you mean there. That's fair enough. And I think having an actual voice does make it more calming, I guess. I mean, I'm not AI generated, I can tell you that much. But yes, going back to Lego City sub-theme. So I said this on a couple of Lego Train groups on Facebook with not that many responses, but even then it was kind of the same. What if, instead of having a full-on dedicated Lego Trains theme in the future, what if Lego went all in on a sub-theme for City dedicated to trains? Now, they're kind of already doing that. We've got 2 big train sets once every 4 years, a passenger train and a freight train. We got a tram earlier in the year, which is very cool. We got a station set last year, which again, very cool. But at the moment, that's really it. And you could definitely look at that and think, well, that's all you really need, just those 4 and you're good to go. Well, there's always the expansion of different train types, different wagon types, little scenery areas where you can have a freight wagon, like a plank wagon, with a little coal bunker and 1 or 2 minifigs to have a way of being able to pour coal from the bunker into the wagon. I mean, there's so much that can be done in terms of what these sets can be. Because again, a full-on dedicated train theme is never going to really work. I remember when the F1 theme was first leaked online, there was a guy on Facebook who was essentially ranting about my own, like people say my own train didn't work, should stop complaining, because if they can do F1, they can definitely bring that back. But people need to remember that my own train was not as successful as people remember it today. It's probably more popular today than it ever was back then when it was actually out. But that's because the Lego train scene has advanced and evolved over the years. And I would still say that my own train should not come back in its own way. I don't remember my opinion of it in the past, but I feel like any kind of form of my own train should not really come back today, because the original line from years ago failed. From that alone, there's no reason to bring it back and try it again. But you could definitely get away with experimenting with it in a city sub-theme. I really do believe that. And every now and then have something a bit more specialist in the creator line, like a much smaller or a scaled down version of the Orient Express, for example. Because so many people want to see, and especially when it came to the Brick Railway Builders podcast, back when I had that going, when I would ask people what kind of ultimate train set would you like to see people see Lego release, the common answer was a small tank engine or like a small diesel shunter with maybe one or two wagons, some track, and it's its own piece. It's basically, again, a scaled down version of the Orient Express. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely there. The possibility is definitely there. I'm going to make this video explaining how this could work. That's something for the new year, and I definitely believe it's a possibility. Lego might not do this for another 10 years, but I genuinely believe one day we'll get that back. Even if it's just for 1 year. If we get it back, it's a win. So yeah, what do we think about that? We also got the downtown set with the monorail. We did. Monorail, it's a rail, it's a train, therefore it counts. Honestly, even if Lego started selling decent-looking 8-wide trains, I probably still won't be buying them because you just know that they'd be extremely expensive, far more than I can pay. There is that side to that. I feel like if they were 8-wide, scaling kind of to a side, because I don't know if Lego would ever really bother to kind of figure out a scale. If you look at the Emerald Knight, for example, well, you get it. But even then, even if there were 6, like some of them like mid-6, mid-7, like again, like the Emerald Knight, where it was 7 at the cab, 6 at the tender, that sort of size, those kind of proportions, I don't think it would be that unreasonable. If the Emerald Knight retailed today, it would definitely be over 100. But even then, that's not bad. If it was brand new today, it wouldn't be that bad. And that style of set as well is something that we would love to see back. Maybe not a passenger train, though, because, again, Orient Express exists. But hopefully you see what I mean. It would definitely be small, again, with it being city. If the idea was going to remain intact of it being a city sub-theme, the trains would be 6 wide. They are always 6 wide. Their road vehicles are getting massive. The new camper van that's coming out next year, by the way, if you haven't seen on the Discord server, I noticed earlier today some Jang Bricks videos that all of the New Year releases are now on the Lego.com website. So, I mean, I'm really excited to mention this earlier, but if anything, Lego are going to stay consistent with the trains being 6 wide. But that's not a problem because we can modify them however we see fit. I can feel a sneeze coming. Oh boy. My eyes are watering because oh boy. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be buying a $300 official Lego Orient Express. I'm going to buy the $72 AliExpress knockoff. That's basically identical. Well, that is your choice, and if you wish to do that, fair enough. Sorry, the sneeze is distracting me. I'm going to give it 2 minutes. I'm going to be snatching my head that way. Honestly, I'd like Lego City Trains not represent IRL engines or other customers. I think that's what they would do as well. Again, similar to the Emerald Knights, where you can see inspiration from an A3, but it's not a proper A3. it's got the basis there, but it's got its own twinge to it. I reckon they could definitely do that. And even then, I feel like Lego, if they were to do it again, if they were to go down this path, all the small diesel, all the locomotives like Bar 9 will be diesels. I think it will be something similar to this, the sort of size and kind of proportions of the 40th anniversary GWP sets, with those sort of small wheels for the train wheels, because Lego will not make different size train wheels outside of the massive ones they made for the Hogwarts Express 2 years ago. Oh. I think it would be cool if Lego released a set of the USATC US ATC S100s in so many countries, but their own versions. It'd be cool to be recognizable all over the world. It's not a bad shout. A locomotive that was seen worldwide will definitely get some more recognition instead of the Maersk train, like Sam's just saying here, like a more generic but also recognizable diesel, well, locomotive as a whole. There's definitely possibilities. It could definitely work, but there's a lot of thinking that has to be done with it. There's a lot of development that needs to be taken into account. I'm going to be doing some research into this a little bit further as to what can work. But yeah, there's so much that can be done with this. We will continue this conversation for the next 10 years. Ah, man. Come on, Lego. Get on with it already. But it is so good to see that other companies have picked up with train sets. Again, think Blue Bricks, for example, the German company, who do their own, it's their own full-on company of brick toy sets. And their train sets are absolutely incredible. Absolutely phenomenal. I, for one, could definitely see Lego tapping into that market. I still don't understand why, though, because, well, you can kind of understand why, but at the same time, just why haven't Lego done that? Trains, like model trains, is the #1 hobby in the world. There's very obviously a market, but Lego is, of course, a toy. So you can make an in-between. I feel like City is the perfect thing for it because it's recognizable for kids to be able to play with it as the toy set that it is, but also adults can buy one or two of those, modify it how they wish, and have their own fun as a way of getting into the hobby. Again, I'll save all of this for the video because there's so much discussion about it. It could work. It could really work. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see if Lego actually ever pull the trigger on that sort of thing. It would be nice. Right. Now that we got some people here, who wants to see some of my new Lego creations? Technically, one of them is about half a year old. Hang on. About 5 months old? Actually, no. Actually, yes, about 5 months old. It's not even new because it's appeared in videos a couple of times in vlogs of shows where I've taken the car stuff. But that's the only model that has technically been on film. All these other mocks I have here to showcase here today are brand spanking new. What else was on the list? Right, I've done the thought experiment. I've done the polls. I need to go back to there. The plan for 2025 or some new mocks, new car mocks specifically. I just looked at Blue Bricks because I never heard them before, and I'm a little skeptical as to the originality of the designs. Have you built any of those auto rack freight cars yet? Not yet. That definitely needs to be done. I think I might make them double decker. I don't know, to be honest. I think I might do. Actually, I think double decker might be the best. I don't know because of the weight of the cars. If they go around the corner at some crazy speed, oh god, that's a point. If I make those wagons, when I make my new layout, I need to make sure the wagons and the cars sitting on them can clear the tunnel of the new layout I'm going to build. Oh, oh boy. Whew. um, huh. Bugger. Okay. That's a point. I need to get that on to build list. Let me do that right now. Let me put that second to the top because I've got another priority at the moment. I'm gonna go auto rack wagons, car carrier train wagon. I would just put those there. Auto rack. Okay. So no, I've not built that yet, but I think I'll probably build those when I get back into the full swing of Lego trains. Because again, I got the layout to build. There's a thing to that. So December 28th will be the deciding day as well. I don't think it'll be the deciding day, but in the new year, I will be finding out if my train layout theme for my Lugs future collaboration is going to go through or not. A voting process needs to take place first. Pardon me. And once that voting is done, then I can decide on how much I'm going to build my layout. I don't know how long that's going to take. I really hope that the voting process doesn't start in like March or something stupid like that, because I'm doing a model railway show with my dad in March, and I said yes to being there, and I have a train layout I need to build. Well, the parts are in boxes. I got the space. I've got the best express ever. Still need to build it. But I do like the idea of the auto rack cars. Thank you for reminding me, RK. I do need to get on with that. I think I'll probably only. I think for safety's sake, I'll probably only build them a single deck because, well, that'll probably just make them flatbeds. That would be auto. Well, I'll have to go with a slow train then. I'll have to figure out. They're not that. Oh, they are actually quite heavy. Oh, piss. Okay. I need to figure out how I'm going to actually get all that moving. Okay, I'll get to that in the future. We'll hand wave that for now, but yeah, I need to get to that. Blue Bricks, I don't think they've stolen any designs. There's a hell of a lot that they do that is original. In all the time, because I've looked on the Blue Bricks website. Let's have a look at it again. Why not? Because I have bought from them before. A few years ago, I bought the Eurostar sets that they sell. And it's a very, very good set. The quality of the bricks is Lego grade quality. The only, I remember saying this in the review and describing this to clubmates. The only way you can tell the difference is the studs on Lego bricks will say Lego on them, and Blue bricks have smooth, flat studs. But the quality is absolutely amazing. It really is. 8W? What's that? 8 wide. Oh! What the heck is that? We can't afford to go on a tangent. This is not what we're here for. I do like that locomotive, though. Okay. I swear I've seen some of their designs on Rebrickable. Maybe. I'm not going to champion Blue Bricks as being pure, but they are a full-on company. Like, this is an official, legitimate, like, functioning company. And that is pretty good. They have their own car carrier wagons, but that's what I need to make mine look like. Okay. They, yeah, I don't think they probably looked at people's designs online and said, we'll do our own version. But I've never seen any reports of Blue Bricks directly taking designs, if that makes sense. Oh my god. Right, I'll need to look at blue bricks after the live stream because I'm going to get consumed otherwise. I mean, fair enough, I'm taking my word, but again, my blue bricks experience comes down to purchasing that one set right before Brexit kicked in and Germany refused to sell to Britain. I don't know if they can still sell to Britain. That's a point. Yeah, it doesn't matter now because I'm not going to be buying from them. Right. Do we want to go over the 2025 plan, or do you want to see some new Lego cars? Let's see what we want to do. We have a whole other hour to go. 2-hour live stream, folks. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Thank you to everyone who came in. RK, Sam Brown, Mexican Rail fan, Tugs Galaxy Railway. Good to see you all here. Thank you all so much for coming by. This is the last live stream of the year, and we're going to be going full force in 2025. It's going to be pretty interesting, to say the least. So some new car marks, or do we want to go over the plan for New Year? I should make like a road map. That would not be bad, because that would help me plan. Yeah, snotty nose, sorry. Oh, I think it is. Yeah, it's not quite. Pardon me. I see what they did there. Floating car. I should not be looking at this. I'm distracting myself. Those are some gorgeous looking hot rods, though. Look at that. That's $25. That's not bad, you know. One thing Lego needs to do, I haven't seen any company do this yet. Like a thin wheel, but like how do I do I have any? Oh, I don't have any. Just hand. Like a fairly large sort of ish wheel, but thin. The ones you get in sets are like 3 studs thick, and there's a bunch of cars I want to make that basically a bunch of hot rods, but I want to use thinner wheels because of how much space it's all hogging. It would definitely help. I'm liking a lot of these. They've got sticker sheets. These look good. God, Blue Brick's looking good. They have John Wick's car on there. Yeah, there's a lot of very obvious cars from films and such that I don't know if they fully got the license to. But they call it something else, so technically they get away with it. Fine selection, not that much. The Apocalypse Monster Limousine. That's basic Immortan Joe's monster truck. As a set, I tell you what, that looks wicked cool. I'm distracting myself again. It does look good though. That really does look good. Right, so we are officially halfway through. So before we get to the mocks then, let's go over the plan for next year. So, just to touch up on the layouts again for the millionth time, it is coming back next year. I'm doing a Model Railway show at the beginning of March. I'm pretty sure my dad said it was the 1st of March. But yes, I'm going to be rebuilding my train layouts. I think I might commit to making it 2 tracks anyways. But the layout plan I suggested to the lug for the collaboration, that's the word, it makes it 3 tracks. I kind of hope it doesn't get picked because it saves me able to add a bunch of stuff. But I think ultimately it'll be alright because the layout is going to get rebuilt. My grand plan will come to fruition. I've got narrow gauge to figure out. I still need to get some tracks. That's some point. Sorry, I got something in my hair. And I don't know if I'm going to be building any more trains. I got a couple of wagons. I've gone over the whole list a bunch of times, but the train layout is coming. I'm going to get back into trains mildly, I guess. Gonna have some fun making the layouts. I need to remember to vlog myself making the layouts, which is going to take a lot of time. That's gonna be a challenge as well. It's definitely going to slow down the process, but yeah, that's definitely a thing. Also, coming in, live streaming is something I need to get back onto regularly. So no matter what happens, I need to make sure that I'm committing to live streaming every week. 52 weeks of the year, so 52 live streams throughout next year. That is the goal. If I do any less than 40, then I will be upset with myself. On the plus side, however, in terms of live streaming, I have officially become a family member of London Calling. So Greg of London Bridge Bricks, he seems really fond of me, which I think is really sweet. I have been given the chance to join his streams on a regular basis. I believe it's the first Friday of every month. He streams every Friday in the evenings. It's such a fun show. I love being on the show. It's really cool, really fun. And I believe it's the first Friday. Let me just double check the message. Format. The first Friday of each month, yes. So I'll be joining London Calling on the first Friday of each month. If you haven't seen it, it is a panel-style show with a bunch of AFOLs talking about LEGO, all the news, everything that's coming up. It is such a fun time. It really is. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to because there's a chance to expand my audience, expand my channel and my brand. Well, I don't really have a brand, but I'm pretty sure you know what I mean when I say that. And or just be involved with more people because why not? We are a wonderful community after all. So yeah, being able to be officially, it's not really officially a member. I'm just appearing more regularly, which is good. Hopefully the 12 appearances I make, because it's the first of every month, kind of grows, I guess. I do want to be on that show more often because, it is such a fun show. We'll have to see what arrangements get made, though, because of other personal dedications, things can be a bit tricky. So we'll have to, I suppose, figure out from there. That's a point. When's New Year's? The first one for next month will be on the 3rd. Friday, the 3rd of January. Okay. I suppose that'll be my next appearance. So in 2.5 weeks. That's actually really exciting. Honestly, I want the 1x1 corner bracket where there's a bracket stud on 2 adjacent sides forming a corner. I mean, the thing is, the logistics of it might not work in the way that I don't know if it's a part that's not possible or if it's a part that doesn't quite make sense. I can see what you mean, but how do we do it? Okay, so you got the actual square here. So let's say this is your 1x1 stud. You got one bracket piece here, and you got one bracket piece here. You have this tiny bit in the corner. Because the bracket sticks out a tad, does that lip all the way around that 1x1 stud? Or do you have that tiny gap in that corner where it's just the two sides? So is it going to go like this? Or does it kind of sit like this? Because they're not going to meet in that corner. I think that's a logistic thing that parts designers kind of go back and forth on. So narrowing down which one is best to use, I think, is why such a piece doesn't yet exist. There's always the possibility we'll see in the future, but I mean, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but again, there's so many pieces that people want to see exist that don't, either for a reason or it's just not fully figured out yet. So that is the streaming section. Patreon. So I haven't posted too much to Patreon. The last post I made was November 12th, so just over a month ago. But funny enough, it was my 2025 plan. It kind of goes into it briefly, but it also has some updates on to the previous one I made on the public page. So Patreon, to anyone who doesn't know, is a website that you can basically support a creator that you like in a monetary way. So it's not just YouTubers and streamers. There's carpenters and musicians. There's so many people who have a dream and need assistance in funding it. So it's a very funky website. It's one that I've used before. Pardon me, there's another one. And it was not too bad the first time I used it. And halfway in the year, about 6-ish months ago, I think at this point, I don't know, it's actually been quite a while. But I decided to bring Patreon back for another go. And I'm not too sure if I want to keep going with it, because it has been sad to see that I have not had any supporters, which is totally okay. Patreon is something that is, you look at, again, when you hear that description, it's definitely something you think, well, I don't really want to do that. And of course, nobody's obligated to do so. One thing that has kind of bugged me, though, is Patreon also has a free members tier, which doesn't really make any sense. And I can't say this without sounding egotistical, but members who sign up to Patreon on the free tier will not gain any benefits, because otherwise it becomes no different to following me on Instagram, for example. So Patreon will still continue, but I think I'll disband it after a certain period of time if it doesn't pick up, because I decided to relaunch Patreon because doing YouTube and all of the hobby things that I love to do have become less financially possible. So back in March, I passed my driving test. And a month later, I bought a car. Paying for the insurance and paying for the car as well was something I was prepared for, but I wasn't aware of how it would affect me monetarily going down the line. I am still paying off a loan which I used to pay for the car in the first place. There are other things I'm also still paying for which will benefit me later on in life, but Lego has taken a major back seat, and it's been challenging to try and keep up with it. And yeah, the idea of getting sets on New Year's, the fact that it only costs just over 100, like in its own way, isn't that bad. But it's weird because that's its own thing. But doing all the Christmas shopping has, I think I've thrown £300 into presents for people, and I think it's actually been a little bit more. But yeah, that, I mean, everyone can agree and understand the chaos of Christmas shopping, because that is such an expensive time of the year. But yeah, I didn't realize how much I was spending. I just thought, right, that would be a good gift. This was definitely a much more panicky year for me for the Christmas shopping. But it's left me with pennies at the end of the month, which has been really frustrating, I guess. Again, I'm aware of all the financial responsibilities my life now has to endure, but it's, yeah. So basically what I'm trying to say is, in order for me to continue enjoying the Lego side of the hobby and in turn to produce content here on YouTube, I'm going to need a little extra support. If I don't get that through Patreon, again, that is a-okay. I understand that everything I'm saying makes me sound egotistical, at least a little bit. I cannot figure out a way to say any softer, for lack of a better term. But again, Patreon was more so as an experiment to see if anybody was willing to do it. We do have members, but they are under the free tier, which, again, I explained earlier. So if it does not work out, then I am going to shut down the Patreon page. There's no ultimate problem with that. But it's still good for me to say this and get this out there, because you understand where my mind is, you understand where the channel is, and it's, in its own weird way, healthy for you to understand this. So make of that how you will. Oh, it'd be a bit more complicated to make. It's certainly possible. I've asked my dad, and he designs molds for injection molding machines for a living. No way! Oh, that's wicked. I don't think it's a problem with molding it and actually making the piece, because The ABS plastic that Lego use for their bricks is very, very high quality. And again, all the pieces are technically possible, but when you actually make the shape, there's definitely a few variants of that shape where you kind of look at that and think, okay, which one's better, this one or this one? So you got to make a few models, use that piece, kind of make some designs, and kind of narrow down which one is ultimately the best. And there's no doubt that that's in their library, in Lego's library. It's sorry, itchy nose. I don't know what else to really say to that. I guess. I mean, there's so many shape pieces that are Which server was it? I think it was in the Lego Thomas and Friends server. Oh, this must have been ages ago if it was there. I remember seeing. I'm pretty sure it was in that server where somebody had. It looks like a studio screenshots of a bunch of custom shaped pieces. Pardon me again. And there was a lot of them that looked really good. Very convenient, but also they seemed specific. So I think a corner bracket is one of the shape pieces that can definitely see a lot of mass use. But we've also got to take into account that if these new pieces are going to exist, it needs to be something that you will end up using and seeing in a lot of sets. Not every set that gets released, of course, but how many sets do you see that have a specific shape piece? What's a model you've made and go, oh, that's a good thing that shape piece exists? How many colors does that come in? How many sets does that come in? That's another thing that needs to be taken into consideration. What's the possibilities of building with this piece going forward? So again, it's absolutely possible. And yeah, I think that's a massive conversation in its own right. Sam also says, I was planning on supporting once I move out of my parents' house. My goal is to be on my own by the time I turn 24, which is about 2.5 years' time, preferably before then. Sam, I'm going to let you in on the secret. I'm 26. I turned 27 in March, and I'm still living with my parents. I have wanted to move out for at least 3 years. I don't know what it's like where you live, but at least here in England, in southwest England where I'm based, it's not affordable at all. I do want to move in with my girlfriend, but there are a few things kind of in the way of that. And I reckon at least by halfway through next year, I will be moved in with her, which in turn means I have to spend more money on the bills because, of course, 50-50, that's only fair. But as much as this sounds stupid, the best advice I can give you with that, stay living with your parents for as long as you can, because it's the cheapest. You can argue with them as much as you like, and I personally don't like how parents charge their kids rent, but that's my own qualms and what do you call qualms and I can't remember the word is, but basically, if you can be tolerated by your parents, stay living with them for as long as you can, because it really will help. And make sure you're saving money. Because, yeah, I mean, for the past year, I put £100 a month, £100 a month to a side, just to let that build up. I'll do whatever I want with that in the future, but specifically, I'm not touching that. So save up money, stay living as cheap as you can, live with your parents as much as you can tolerate them, as much as they can tolerate you. But if you do wish to support me on Patreon, then I thank you very much for doing so. But ultimately, if you decide not to or you can't, again, there's no obligation, there's no need to do that in any way, shape, or form. So that is the Patreon talk. What was the last thing? I've talked about the cars quite a lot, but it is in the update, so we'll go over it now. So I have, which one is it? This, no, it's the other one. So in terms of the Street Racers, so Street Racer Season 3 is still going to be kicking off. It's going to be a massive season. It's going to be huge. This is going to span a few months. So I have built a police station and the mock showcase. I need to do that on a day where I'm not working, because this time of the month, it's dark at like 3 p.m. It's actually really frustrating. So if I'm going to do any videos, I need to make sure that I'm on a day off. I can get it all set up, do the film, do all the filming I need to do, edit in the audio commentary afterwards, and then go from there. So the police station I've had for a few shows. I've actually had that for, I think, the same time as the other car, about half a year, 5 months-ish. So that needs to have a mock showcase video because that's way overdue. In the new year, I'm going to be looking into making a big fancy house, a sort of neighborhood area. I don't know how easy that's going to be able to make. That's probably going to be last on the list. So police station needs to be done, the fancy house, a park and warehouse workshop. I've got a bit of a dingy, seedy sort of theme for that workshop. It's more, again, I like the idea of it being in a warehouse on the street more so than an official garage compared to the other two garages I've made. I'm also going to be making a junkyard garage, which kind of goes against what I just said. Then again, I need to, no, hang on. I need to get, no, because the Lowrider Park, yeah. Lowrider Park and warehouse. I think the warehouse works next to the, sorry, I'm just taking that loud for a second. So yeah, one of the scenes I have, it's going to be a car park with a skate park behind it and a warehouse sort of like next to it. I've got, I bought this set a couple of weeks ago. More so for the, I mean, the fact that it's a C set, you can kind of ignore that. But I like all these, like the shaping of the frame. I like how I can potentially use that as a bit of a, not grimy, what's the word? I don't know, like suburban industrial sort of look. Ooh. Again, this is another thing where I've got a bit of a vision in mind for it. So I'm going to look into making that as one massive area. This is definitely the build-up of my city, so this is really exciting. That third garage, I think I'm going to dedicate to the junkyard. Oh, pardon me again. That scrapyard set, the official images are, I'm so excited. It's such a cool looking set. I cannot wait to get a hold of it. I am so eager for New Year's. Oh, yes. The neighborhood area, again, I feel like is going to be the very last on that list. In fact, let me move that to the very bottom. I also like the idea of making a diner, which is going to be very interesting because technically my girlfriend and I kind of collaborated together on making a space-themed ice cream parlor. In some of the Lego show vlogs I've done, you can see that mock in the videos, and she has thought about retiring it. And I said to her, if you ever decide to do that, I want it so I can turn that into a diner for the car scene. I want it. I want it. Yeah. So that is, again, that's like the second lowest on the list. But an idea I had earlier today is a spray paint shop. I mean, a lot of the cars I've built have wacky color schemes and liveries, loads of sticker details on there. Where are they going to get them from? Well, let's make a spray paint shop, because why not? Another garage, like a really thin garage of sorts. I kind of picture it to look like, you know, when you play GTA 5, you go into spray and pay, or pay and spray, whatever the way around it is. It's like a I suppose L-shaped in a way. You just go and you park there, and there's just shelves of spray cans. And I like the idea of Ramon's workshop in Pixar Cars, where you can see panels with a bunch of artwork and details on them. I like the idea of one wall just having shelves of paint and another wall having all these special sticker details on them. Because I've got loads of sticker bricks and frankly no models to be able to use them on. That's not a bad idea, you know. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 new scenes I'm going to be building. 1 that needs a showcase video already, and 2 that I would like to play with in the future. Definitely possible. Nick's Trains, hello. Thank you very much for tuning in. How are you doing? Good to see you. Someone new, I believe. I don't recall seeing you in the chat before. Well, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm good. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. We are talking all things about my 2025 schedule. We have some car models to showcase later on. Nick also said, I build my own Lego trains as well. I usually build Australian, but sometimes something different. Fair enough. I'm guessing that you're Australian then? I don't know actually, because there are like Sam of British Bricks. So he's Australian, but he builds British. And there are you are sure. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, there are people who build outside of their region. It's not unheard of. So fair enough. Sam also says, starting in January, I'll be taking a 14-week locomotive engineering conductor training course. Ooh! And then getting a job as an assistant conductor, working my way up, all well-paying, in-demand jobs. Excellent. That's really cool to hear. So going back to these street races for just a moment. Oh, so yes, 4 new locations are going to be built. I again waiting for after Christmas in the New Year's, because for the house there is a Creator 3-in-1 modern house set. I know that I'm getting 2 of them for Christmas. I'm getting at least one. If I'm lucky, I'm getting a second one. So technically I shouldn't be able to know that, but I know I'm getting 2 of those. So putting those 2 together to make the big old house, it's going to have a big old car garage, not like a workshop garage, but like a storage garage next to it as well, because it's a fancy house. Of course it's going to have them. The whole lowrider park, I'm really keen to start that one first, because that is going to be that's probably going to be the biggest scene piece I make, most likely. The junkyard, of course, when that set comes out in the new year, that's going to be an instant purchase, and that will be worked on pretty much straight away. I like the idea of the spray paint shop being a lot smaller. I'll definitely have to figure out that one. I like it being lengthways instead of width as well. Again, another thing I'll have to play with. We are going to be in for a treat for Street Racers Season 3. I also need to work on a way to integrate the train layouts with the car scene, because I want to make a level crossing. And because of RK's reminder earlier in the stream, the car carrier train wagons, I'm going to need to make a little ramp or something for them to be able to actually go onto the wagons. Again, I think they're going to stay as flatbeds. I don't really know how I'm going to be able to make it all work together. The wagons might have to be 10 wide, which will break some of the consistencies with the engines. But again, that's something to figure out in the future. I don't really know what I'm going to do with that. I know I want to do it, but again, we'll get them when we get there. So let me put it on there now. Level crossing. There we go. How many cars have I made for season? I think I've got like 40 cars made for season 3. So seasons 1 and 2 saw 30 profiles. And season 2 I was only just able to bring them up to 30 thanks to the inclusion of the monster trucks. But I've been going all in, balls deep, on making so many cars, and I've had the time of my life making them. Oh yes. And we're going to showcase some of these now. What a lovely transition. But first of all, let's catch up with the chat and have a quick drink. So I'm saying, I'm American, I build American, I especially love the weird American locomotives like the Erie Camelback 0880. I remember when bloody hell, what's his name? Tony Sava, that's it. When he made his like 15 years ago or something, stupidly long like that. I remember looking at that engine and thinking, what the hell model is that? It's so weird. But yeah, a lot of the massive American designs, a lot of people are kind of becoming much more familiar with. I don't think I've ever made a Camelback. Not that I can remember, at least. Yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to showcase some new cars. Something I said was going to be exclusive to Patreon, but that's not something to worry about. Okay. We're going to start off with one that's technically been seen before. Why did you retract your message? That is a big engine. Your comment was technically correct. Well, okay, fair enough. Oh, he is using that. Okay, so one that has been in the background of my vlogs, and one that needs to get the minifigure kind of up to date, is this one. Car number 1. Very obviously inspired by Bugatti with the shape at the rear. The kind of door shape here, not the smoothest, but it's definitely... I didn't retract it intentionally. You retracted it? What? How did you what? Hang on. I don't think it makes any difference because I can't even okay. Alright, never mind, let's just carry straight back on. So yes, this car. First made its debut at the show at Highley back in January. I don't remember taking this to Concord. This obviously very much inspired by Bugatti-shaped supercars. And I do like the idea of making another one similar to this in the future, where this black section is dark blue, and all the yellow sections are replaced with dark azure. That color combination sounds very interesting to me, and I might have to get that £55 Batmobile. I might have to get it from Smith's because it's that's a point. Smith's is always way cheaper. There we go. That's Mobile because it is £55 in the Lego store. It's £39 in Smith's. Expected in stock, no longer available. It's such a good dark blue parts kit, though. God. I don't want to pay £55 for that. It is not a big enough set to warrant £55. That is the same size as this one. Yeah. Sorry, I'm distracting myself again. Can I do a quick click and collect? Bristol. Let's try Cribs. Nope. How about the other one? Both of them out of stock. Oh dear. At the same time, I've basically saved myself like 40 quid. So you know what? That's not the end of the world. Okay. So distractions aside, that is car number 1. I might change the wheels. I don't know about the golden wheels anymore. I might keep them. Why not? Car number 6. I'm purposefully saving a model for last. And this is one that's going to get everybody excited. I guarantee you that. Let's just say there's a certain tow truck that got built recently. And it is a model I was a bit hesitant to make. But oh my good gracious. This is top 3, maybe even top 2 in terms of other vehicles that I've made. Because the street racer is kind of its own category. But other vehicles I've made, this is... I'm way more happy with this than I thought I would ever be. And thankfully, I've only had to make one Bricklink order for it. Bricklink order for 6 parts across 2 different stores, which isn't going to be here this side of Christmas. That's going to be my guess. Lego has put the price... kind of. I think everything is in line. I was looking at the sets that are coming out today through Jang Bricks' videos. A lot of it seems reasonably priced, I have to admit. Some set prices are definitely going up, but even then, you look at the prices for some of the sets coming out and you think it's actually quite fair. Personal opinion. Moving on to car number 2. It is, I need to make sure I'm on the right side. No, I keep looking underneath. I know how I made these. So car number 2 is this one. Dark yellow and magenta. I was very excited to make this color combination, especially because of the magenta rims. This is the dark purple window piece. Pardon me. which I'm half tempted to change to another color, but I don't have a plain one, at least not yet. When the new sets come out, especially with the scrapyard, they have a transparent clear windscreen piece. I might see how that looks on this. I don't know yet. But honestly, this for me works just as fine. I could also, actually no, scrap that idea. I was going to say there's a transparent red windscreen piece I've got with some black printing on it, but I think that might be a bit much because the transparent red doesn't match with the magenta. This is purple, which is closer, but yeah, I'll let you decide. But this is ultimately based on... Do I have the set? I've got the set over here. Oh, I can show this off. Right, hang on. Oh, I can't... Hang on. Lazy. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So I found on Marketplace this set. It's all there for £10. This retails for £45. I found it on Facebook Marketplace for 10. I could not let anybody else have it. So I bought it. I am going to keep that bit. Then again, let me keep that over there, actually. Yep. Because technically that needs scrapping to go with another set. So that's on backwards. One of the cars that comes in that set looks like this. So I saw that, saw the dark yellow and magenta color combination, and basically made my own. I think this is not bad at all. Obviously some differences between the sets version and the custom version, but you get the idea. I am actually really happy with this model. I think this is definitely up there as one of my favorite color combinations. Again, the dark yellow in particular is such a beautiful shade. I think I need to try and experiment with this more in the future, but I need to find the right colors to pair this up with. I have been tempted to make another version of Illidan's car, but using dark yellow, where Illidan uses the normal yellow on his car. And that needs to go back in the bag. Cool. But the funny thing is, I'm very tempted to make all those extra detail pieces in gold instead of like all the blacks and silvers. So Illidan's car again is black and yellow. It's the main car in the series. But I like the idea of like this imposter car of sorts. I don't know if I'll go ahead with it completely, but I do love the idea. I do love the idea. So that was car number 2. We are definitely sticking to the theme of tuners for these next 2. So the first one was definitely a supercar. We had tuner number 1, and we are going to look at tuner number 2. Itchy head again. And I'm definitely having some fun with making them look like tuners. And some of the stickers that I've had left over, I've been able to apply. So car number 3 looks like this. I wanted to do something with teal and white, and I was interested to see if red would look good with it. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, it does. So another massive spoiler on the back. Again, I like the idea of these tuner cars having these weird designs, but it's all funky in its own right. And I think it's pulled off quite well here. So we have this sort of thick teal stripe going through the middle of the car. This dragon sticker piece here. I'm trying to use my fingers. I don't remember what that's from, but it looked cool, and I thought, you know what, we may as well put it to good use. I didn't have to chop off... Oh, I did have to chop off something. It's a very tricky thing to see, but you can kind of see that corner there, but a corner of the sticker had to be chopped off, which is heresy in its own right, but at the same time, so was using a sticker. But I think this turned out to be quite nice. It was a very interesting way to balance the red, the white, and the teal. The teal isn't overwhelming. I knew this was going to work, and I wanted to have these sort of red highlights. I suppose the trickiest thing with this was figuring out how much white I was going to have on the top. So you can see some vents that are used in teal. There's some red lining that goes from the back of the car to the spoiler. On the spoiler itself is a sticker that says V8. I mean, yeah, I think this turned out quite well, to be honest. It was fun making this because I made this straight after the previous car. And just having, like, thinking, yeah, it's a tuner. Let's go a bit wild and wacky with it. It's nothing outlandish. You could definitely see a basic car in it. It's just got its own crazy sticker and a spoiler. It's fun. It is a lot of fun. Ooh, but so is this next one. I object to you saying stickers are heresy. I prefer them to prints. Fair enough. I think I can agree there as well, because if there's a particular shape piece that you haven't, I don't know, there are a couple of, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there are certain shape pieces that exist, but they're not plain. They only exist with prints on them. So if you wanted that shape piece in that color, you can't use it because there's prints all over it. There is a way of removing prints. I've seen it before in the past. I don't know how clean it is, but it's definitely a thing that can be done. But I mean, with all the cars I've been making, I've really been warming up to stickers. So I cannot complain about how good or bad stickers are because I've been wanting to use a hell of a lot of them. But prints definitely have their perks. I mean, prints are tidy, they're clean, and they don't, I suppose, where a sticker where you can nudge it and kind of peels off, prints don't do that. Speaking of prints, the last tuner I have, oh my good lord. So back when I made all the race cars, before they got scrapped, I was going through Bricklink. I found these prints on a store that had some other parts I was looking for. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let's buy them. Let's see if I can make a certain car in lime green and blue. It's going to be tricky, but I reckon I can pull it off. And ultimately, with all the models I make, I do have the ability to pull them off. This was a challenge. This was definitely a challenge because lime green and blue, it's not a color combination anyone would really think to try. But let me know what you think. What's this car? Number 4. Yeah, baby. So the prints I'm referring to, you can see it on the side and on the top. These lime green 2x4 tiles with these sort of blue splashes. These are from the Toy Story sets that represent RC, the remote control toy car. Trying to make sure I can hold it, but you can see it all and I don't drop it. So again, this took a good few days to figure out because getting the shape of the car is sort of its own challenge. But if you're going to use 2 colors, you've got to blend the 2 colors in together well enough where it fits. So it's very noticeably darker now. Can I turn this up its side? Is that going to work? Yeah, you can kind of see it. I both love and hate this car at the same time. I think you love the shape of it. The shape of the spoiler in particular, I'm so happy with. The overall shape of it is really cool. But I can understand your hate for this car because of the color combination of lime green and blue. It is definitely an obscure color combination, but altogether, I think this came out a hell of a lot better than it could. So when I made the race car version of this before it got scrapped, it was way worse. But again, a few days of making this, I took my time to figure out how I wanted to go about this. The light's still too bright. I actually don't like that. Yeah, I think that's the shade of light we'll have to stick to. But yeah, this is car number 4. I'm looking at it through the camera. I mean, I've got it in my hand, so I can look at it like this. But it's interesting looking at it on the screen. I don't know why. It has coral-colored wheels. So I think it was at the start of the year. There was a friend set, which was a big old mansion. Lovely set. And there was a teal car that was included as part of the overall set, I should say. And it had coral wheels. Now, that's the only car set, well, it's not really a car set, but that's the only set with a car to feature coral wheels. So, I was able to bricklink them, and I've had them in a bag for maybe half a year. Yeah, it's been a long while. But I finally had a reason to use them. I think coral looks pretty good with lime green and blue. So yeah, finally had a reason to use them, and here it is. This definitely reminds me of Wingo, because Wingo has a wild color scheme. It's lime green body, but also with purple details instead of blue. Definitely quite similar, but thankfully it's enough to be able to tell the two apart. Did I base this off of a Dodge? No, I did not. All the cars I build are freelance designs. But I do acknowledge that a lot of the cars that I make, some people will say, oh, that kind of looks like a Dodge. Oh, that kind of looks like a Ferrari. That kind of looks like this, kind of looks like that. And again, it's not any of my intentions. There will definitely be some real-world elements that take the shape of the car, but there is no direct influence from any one vehicle. If anything, I will look at custom vehicles like concept designs, Hot Wheels cars, other mocks that other people have made to kind of inspire my own models. So if you see a real life car in this particular model, then fair enough, but that was not my intention. We have 15 minutes left of the stream and 2 cars left to go. Plenty of time. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in for as long as you have. I have to admit, the start of this stream was a bit depressing. The first half an hour, nobody showed up. Well, that's a lie. Tonks showed up, and then it went quiet for like half an hour. So to see everyone come in at this later stage, I'm so thankful. Thank you, everyone who came along and said hello in the chat. Let me just check a few things. When is the contraption class coming back, Luke? Maybe if I'm inspired enough to make another contraption, I might have to power it as well. I do like the idea of making another steampunk locomotive. I wouldn't mind making one in the future, but the right inspiration has to be there, of course. I could definitely easily do it, and the contraptions seem to be getting, well, they're not getting more popular, but they definitely have their fans. The problem is as well, to make a steampunk locomotive, it's not actually that easy to make it stand out as steampunk as much as I could have back in the day. There's a guy outside with a loud bike. Let's just wait for him to come and go. I haven't heard that in a while, to be honest, in this area. I mean, maybe one day I'll build another contraption, but it's definitely not on the list, I'm afraid to say. As soon as we were going to say contraption class, I got an ad. Oh, okay. That's weird. I've not seen any notice for ads on the live streams. I've been very conservative with ads on the live streams. I made sure to try and, well, I can't turn them off, but, you know, I've tried to ruin them. So basically, Nick, contraption is the name of a class of locomotives I made back in the day, which were custom designed, but they were steampunk. They were all steampunk themed. And there is one in particular which I actually wouldn't mind redoing. Let me try and find it first, because I think it was Contraption Mark IV. Giants, racers, non-railway, seasonal. I need custom trains. Fictional locomotives. Ah, the very first contraption. See, that's actually not a bad, like Contraption Mark I. That's a funky design that can work. Just having multiple, I think, yeah, the idea ultimately just having multiple steam units can definitely make it function. Contraption Mark II is the one I'm thinking of. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put Contraption Mark II in the Discord. So 6 years ago. Boy! Contraption Mark III was a tank engine, I think. Did I get rid of it? I probably did. Yeah, I can't see 3 or 4. But yeah, Contraption Mark 2. Or is that Mark 4? Because 3 was a tank engine. Ooh-wee. But yeah, basically, I'm going to link in the Discord server when the live stream is. Let's just do it now. This would definitely be a design I'm keen to retry. Yeah, that's the one. All right, Sam, you you got me going. Because it's such a bizarre shape. That's what makes it more exciting. Tender's a bit far away on that bit. That could be the firebox. Ooh, it could work. So let me go to train mocks. So I've posted in the train mocks tab the contraption mock I'm on about. I honestly, I'm immediately intrigued. I think that's the one. Oh man, new contraption waiting. Literally, I honestly, I don't know if that's the last, because that might be the Mark. Because I know I made 4. I think that's the Mark 4. Let me hang on. Okay, I need to figure this out. Okay, wait. Contraption. I made a Mark 5. Yeah, Mark 3 and Mark 5 were tiny little tank engines, which were rubbish. Mark 2 was the one with a gear on it. I remember that one. So yeah, the one I've linked in Discord is the Mark 4, which is the best of them all, because it is such a mad design. All right, hang on, let me put that on the list. Where's my... No, scroll up. I'll put that at the very bottom, though, because I have a layout to build first. So, contraption class Mark 6, because it counts as a Mark 6. Mock showcase, because I can't finish it off without putting that there. Okay. If you go to, well, oh yeah, you don't have Discord, that's fine, but you should still be able to access it. Okay. I can't close ads. Why is the ad thing not coming up anymore? Okay. Are we all back? Is the advert gone? Yeah, I don't have any flying ad skip buttons on my end. That's a bit stupid. But yeah, if you go to my channel, actually, you know, I think I still have it linked. There we go. Right, that's the one I'm on about. That's the design I'm going to recreate, because that's the funky one. Right, we have 10 minutes left. Let's do these mocks before we go. So this model is fresh built today. I started this yesterday, and after a bit of work, I was able to figure out how to make this a bit more suitable. I mean, I had an idea for this in mind, where it's going to be like a classic style car. I've had to kind of go against it, but I still... Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's pretty good. Yeah, that's the one that's coming back. But yes, for the car, back in the room, there was an idea I wanted for a lime green and normal green car. I wanted it to be a classic car, but it didn't quite come to that shape. When I build the car, it sometimes takes its own form, but I'm still happy with the end result. Car number 5 for tonight, I dub the Green Saber, after watching a bunch of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas videos, and the infamous Green Saber is a massive plot point. So I wanted to make a car for a couple of months now. I wanted to make a car with a green body with lime green highlights. It took a while to figure out, as some models do, but I'm very happy with the end result of this particular model. Again, there was a couple of things I wanted to try. There were some pictures of cars I was using as inspiration, but ultimately when you go to make this, it does sometimes take its own form, but that's not a bad thing. I'm still happy with this. I think this is a lovely model compared to all the other ones I've made, especially. And yeah, the addition of these silver wheels, I think, is a good touch as well. Using I think it's pearl silver for the actual wheel itself, and the rim pieces from the Fast and Furious Speed Champions Nissan set. Yeah, I'm actually quite happy with this. Window comes off to reveal Mr. Man inside. Fun fact, I had bought on Bricklink, there was, again, another store I was going through. They had 2x8 lime green slope pieces. So this slope would essentially go to the very back of the car, which meant the spoiler was kind of hanging off by another stud. It looked awkward. I had to do some reconfiguring, which is what I did before the stream earlier today. And yeah, we turned it into this. The green saber in all of its glory. I'm quite happy to finally have this, because the idea of having a green and lime green car in my roster, I've wanted for months. Okay, I have saved the best for last. I swear to God, this is the best of all 6 models, and it's not even close. It's not even finished either. You'll see. So, when I started making cars, I had a plan, and I had a bit of a vision. I wanted to make Pixar Cars characters in Speed Champion size. Initially, I wanted to make the 4 delinquent road hazard cars, or they're known as the tuner cars. Basically, that scene where Mac is on the highway, the 4 hot rods show up, McQueen falls out the trailer. It's that 2-minute scene where everybody fell in love with the street racers. But I saw that and I thought, yeah, I'm going to make those 4 cars. And the plan was to make them fairly big and chunky, like those 150-pound sort of larger Technic car sets, like the Creator cars even, that sort of size. After realizing that was too expensive and beyond my skills at the time, pardon me, I decided to scale things down and go for Speed Champions. So the very first 4 cars I made in this Speed Champion style were the 4 cars that represents Boost, Wingo, DJ, and Snot. The plan was to keep making Pixar Cars characters. But since I had just started making cars a year and a half ago, I didn't know how I wanted to do them. So I didn't have any of the methods nailed down. I know which characters I wanted to make, but there were some characters that just I could not figure out. Again, I've made 6 or so attempts at making a model of Lightning McQueen, but I still haven't got it right. Sam says, I have a suggestion for future Street Racer mocks. Recently, I've built the tail of a few mocks 9 wide, but keep the wheel arches and move the wheels an extra stud apart. Looks awesome. I've seen something similar. I know what you mean. I've seen other models similar. I got to be honest, it's not really my style. I don't know. I mean, there's some things I think one day I might ultimately try it. There is a McLaren two car set where the road, I think it's a race car. It's either a race car or a hypercar, but it's the white that you got one that's orange and one that's black and white. The black and white one is 9 studs wide. And actually, there's a Ford 2-pack as well with the GT40, and there's another sort of like off-roader. I think that's 9 wide as well. I don't know. I don't like the idea of them being 9 wide. It just, I don't know. It's not so much a turn off, but that's something I'm not willing to do. I mean, I've made over 100 cars at this point, so you at this point you build so many models, you hone what your style is. Again, maybe one day I might try it, but I don't know if it'll be anytime soon. I will keep it noted though. But yes, back in the room, the initial idea a year and a half ago was to make a bunch of Speed Champion scale version models of Pixar Cars characters. I made Boost, Wingo, DJ, and Snotrod because they were fairly easy and I was super excited to make them. A year and a half later, I finally got around to doing it again. I've only made one, but as time goes on, I'm going to gather some more parts and I'm going to start making more Pixar Cars characters. But I knew immediately which one I wanted to make first. And again, he's not finished. I got brown mudguards I need to get and some 2x4 printed tiles to go on the sides. But who doesn't love a Mater the tow truck? None of you were expecting this, weren't you? It's Tom Mater! And I'm also making these cars with proper windscreens and minifigures inside them. I'm not going to try and build the eyes. No. I'm not doing that. These are real-life drivable cars. That's the idea. So, on a technicality, this is also my most brittle mock. I'll let you guess as to why. So the lights are there on the back as well. Beautiful brown body. Thankfully, I sorted my box of brown parts to make sure I was ready for this. And I had all the parts I would need. There's a couple of things I wanted to do different, but I was never going to make any bricklink orders for this. So that's everything there. I'm so satisfied with this rear section with the tow cable. So it's all rods in the back, and you can see in the middle about there where the cable reel is. Those are 2x2 round plate and a couple of extra pieces to represent that. I was never going to have string on this. The hook at the back is a minifigure pirate captain hook. And I think it all works out rather well. The rear view mirrors I'm also really happy with. I understand that this looks really weird because of the teeth, but something just didn't feel right by having a vent there. The exposed hood, of course, which you can, again, barely see because of this stupid lighting. But I think I've done one of the best car mocks I've ever made. I am incredibly satisfied with this. Again, this is up there as one of the absolute best. I'm also very satisfied in the fact that I made a bricklink order. It was a bit dusty all of a sudden. I made a bricklink order long ago in that I wanted to make Mater. So I got these pieces. I made an order for 24 of them. I'm using 22 of them for this mock. So thankfully, that bag of parts was still in the brown box. And here they all are. It looks weird as well because one headlight obviously works and one doesn't. It's a bit eerie, I don't know. But it's all there. It's Mater. Well, he's not all there again. I'll let you guess what's missing. I'm using dark grey mudguard pieces because, again, I don't have brown ones. But thankfully, they do exist and they are on the way. Hopefully, they arrive this side of Christmas. That's Mater, everybody. And we are now at the 2-hour mark. So I'll finish off reading the comments. No, the front and middle of the car is 8, but the tail is 9. Oh, okay, I misread that. It's perfectly scale with all the other cars, but it can really make some cars look absolutely amazing if done right. When you say the tail, do you mean... let me grab this one. So when you say the tail, do you mean like this slice here, like behind the rear wheel? Or does that include the rear wheel? Because if it does, I can see what you mean where it kind of like cheese wedges outwards slightly and goes into that rear section. I have seen it on a few models before. But that, I think I know what you mean with that, yeah. So I'll wait for you to reply, and once we do, we will end the stream. I do have a bottle of water up here, thank goodness. But after 2 hours of streaming, I'm going to need to get something to eat. Let's finish off the burp juice. I haven't recorded that in ages. Keep that there for now. Ooh, whoops. I have to get these old bubble wraps back in the box as well. Includes the rear arches, basically rear wheels. The back are 9Y everything. Yeah, I recognize what you mean now. Okay, then that is going to be the end of the stream. Thank you everyone so much for coming by. This is the last live stream I will be doing for this year. I'm talking too much because I'm all excited now. So the plan for next year has been spread out. There's going to be a lot of content on the way. Of course, all the Lego shows I do in the next year will all be vlogged. So we've got all of that to look forward to. Lego Trains will be returning next year in full swing with a new layout. I am very excited to finally get that built. Street Racer Season 3 is going to be the biggest season by far, with 4 new set pieces being built and a 5th one, which will get a mock showcase video to begin with. Of course, all the profiles are going to be made for all of these new cars and new characters. I don't know if I'm going to stop building cars because I think I'm over 40 profiles for Season 3 at the moment. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I saw something included in the... Do you have a Facebook page? If so, I'll share pics there. I have a Facebook, but it's personal. Just get Discord. Come on, man. Jump on in. It's fine. Come on in. The water's fine. You're not going to dip your toes in. You're not going to burn them. But yeah, Street Racers is going to be full force. It's going to be so exciting to get that filmed. Normally a season goes on for an entire month. This is going to take up 2 or 3 months because of how massive it is. It's a huge story I've got, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. I don't have the... All right, fair enough. I do need to figure out another way to get pictures shared. Because, yeah, some people won't have one, but won't have another. I'll look into it. I don't mind having well, no, because that kind of... It's not a public group page kind of defeats the point. Yeah, I'll figure something out for another place to share pictures and such, because I don't have Flickr anymore, and Flickr is a pile of ass anyways because of how it decided to delete my account. So yes, Street Racers in full force. Lego Trains will be coming back. I will be live streaming every Thursday. Thursday is a dedicated day for my live streams. I have committed to that for the past number of months. The first Friday of every month, I will be on London Calling, which is a panel show, which is all things Lego. So make sure to tune in on London Bridge Bricks for that. And that is pretty much everything. Reddit. I have a Reddit.